Mentoring is a staple in the golf course industry. Syngenta is proud to support those who have made a difference.
He is a legend and a legacy. Both feared and revered, the late Dr. Joseph Duich left more than a mark on the turfgrass industry. He is the face behind Penn State's 2-year golf course superintendent education program, a tough, comprehensive program designed to turn the nearly 6,000 students who studied there into out-of-box strategists adept at thinking far beyond turf. In his lifetime, Dr. Duich bred and developed a multitude of varieties of bentgrass, including Pencross, the A's and G's, and specialties such as Seaside 2 for coastal areas that are exposed to salt. Bentgrass, most likely Dr. Duich's bentgrass, is found on golf courses worldwide today, and his name will always be synonymous with bentgrass and turf management.
Certainly professor, mentor, teacher, grandfather, friend, all those things wrapped into one.
A complex man who wore many hats, Joe Duich became widely known over the years and remembered today not just for what he accomplished in the world of turfgrass, but also for his unique way of mentoring.
Not only in turfgrass management, but that mentorship went into how you conducted yourself as a person, how you would manage people working for you, how you would cultivate relationships with others in the industry. And so yes, turfgrass is a part of it, but his big speech to us and his big main point of focus was that once we got out of school, it would be 10% of what we do would be turf and agronomics. The other 90% of what we do would be relationships and working with people. And so he made sure we didn't forget about that, and you continue to develop yourself as a person. There are more things important in the business than just, again, knowing that technical knowledge. It's etiquette, it's how you handle yourself, how you develop yourself, and how you handle relationships with other people. And he just imparted that in such a way that it was firm, like your father would to you or your grandfather, but also in a caring way. Not that he would ever scald a person, but he would grab your attention, and then he'd be there as that friend after school, after hours, outside of the classroom, just very much a friend and a confidant.
It's interesting that Joe never tried to be a mentor. He didn't have to try. It just happened. People watched him, they listened to what he had to say, and they followed his ways. And not just with turf management. Under Joe's leadership, simply by watching how he operated, his followers developed deep roots.
He never slighted anybody. And he told me one time, he said, Frank, he said, what you ever want to do is don't ignore anybody. If somebody comes up to you, give them the courtesy of acknowledging them. And if you don't remember their name, ask for it. But acknowledge everybody.
Forcing his students to work hard, think hard, and find their own solutions was just a part of Joe's way of teaching.
You look at Joe Duich's accomplishments in plant breeding, and all of the major varieties on greens today, were patterned after what he achieved with the fine textured bent grasses.
He is described as a magnificent teacher, demanding taskmaster, and mentor to countless individuals. Yet some have said that Joe could be difficult, challenging, almost ruthless.
Dr. Duich was a tough man to get to know, if you weren't one of his direct students. But I loved his teachings, and I learned so much from his students, his method of teaching, like say telling them to read the Wall Street Journal, and the students couldn't figure out why he wanted them to read the Wall Street Journal. That was one little aspect of his teaching that was unique in many ways. But he wanted them to make sure that they not only understood turfgrass, but they understood the way their employers think about things in life and the people that they're going to deal with in life. And by reading those magazines and newspapers that they read, hopefully they will acquire that understanding on the other end of the scale.
He had no smooth edges on him, man. He was like a tough guy, and he was rigid, and he was like, he would give a final and he'd walk out of the room, never come in, and nobody ever looked at anything other than their paper. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. I mean, he was like the man.
It's apparent that Dr. Duich's work has affected the turf industry tremendously.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I mean, you have all afternoon, you don't have enough tape in there. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. But I mean, I think what he did for us as golf course superintendents in the 2-year program at Penn State is just beyond anybody's imagination. I mean, if you were going to dial up a model of how to populate an industry with the absolute best and then have this constant spin-off of really, really great pupils and students of the game and great superintendents, I mean, it's just crazy how, you know, long after he's gone, you know, 10, 15, 20 years, that all these disciples of Dr. Duich that never met him, but are being, you know, mentored through his vision, that'll go on for decades.
Rough edges perhaps, but a glimpse into his unique way of teaching shows us just why Joe Duich became such a great mentor.
I mean, obviously as a mentor, he was a hard-working individual, a wealth of knowledge. I always thought that Dr. Duich was the type of person that if you had a problem on a golf course, that not only did he have the academic background, he had the common sense and experience to be able to solve the problem. So I looked at him as being, you know, probably the best agronomic mind I've ever been around.
Pro or novice, whenever a golfer stands on a green today, chances are that it's Dr. Duich's grass they're standing on, and yet
He was a very, very humble man. He never sought the limelight, although it followed him. No matter what he did, you know, people would, you know, they would, I don't want to say deify him, but, you know, but they pointed to him as one of the world's experts, and he was. But he didn't care about that. What he mostly cared about was the turf family, the students that studied under him and that went to Penn State.
The sun never sets on Joe Duich's empire. There's always someone in the world that was educated under Joe Duich. The globe is covered with his students.